Life online for children nowadays is complex, and it's very, very naive of us to think that they are safe. They are not. So I was just part of a discussion about online use because Michelle very kindly shared an experience her child had, I think it was yesterday, on the post that I put up, which is a post from Australia saying that since lockdown, the numbers of children being, I think it said being approached or being abused online has doubled. Doubled. And of course it has, because, however hard you try, it's very difficult to make sure that children are not on screens because, they're very drawn to them. We've covered that before, and you need a break sometimes, etc. But honestly, it's not an exaggeration, which somebody has already slightly alluded to say that the online world is not safe for children. Think of it like this, okay? So those weird emails you get sometimes which tell you things like, oh, your email account is going to be frozen because da da da. Your TV license has expired, and all sorts of other things. Well, those are sent by scammers, and usually we pick up on it as soon as we see them, and then we get to know them, so we just ignore them. But those scammers spend every moment that they have spare in their lives working out wording and ways to draw people in, this is adults in, to con them out of their money. And we know, because we see it on TV programs sometimes, that of course every now and again it works. Otherwise they wouldn't do it. Every now and again, some poor person, and it's often older people. I know my mum has been targeted a huge amount, but it's not just older people, are pulled into a scam. And are they stupid people? No. Are they vulnerable? Yes, often they are. They're looking for connection and kindness, or they're worried about money, so they're pulled in, boom, and the money is gone. Those are adults. So we need to get real about the fact that in the same way, every second of every day, there are sexual predators who, especially during lockdown, have got the time and will dedicate their time to learning from each other and working out how to be online secretly, posing as another 8-year-old girl, posing as a 12-year-old boy. They will literally forensically spend their time trying to learn how to be like this. And if we don't wise up to it, then we are throwing our children under the goddamn bus. And it's not about, oh, there are kind people in the world and the children need to know. Of course it is. This isn't about kindness. This is about people who, whether they get to meet your child face to face one day, and sometimes they do, because they will take their time. They may take a year, they may take 2 years befriending your child bit by bit by bit. And it might get to an age where your child is no longer completely under your control. So maybe they have gone to senior school and they walk to school. So they will wait that long and they will have built a friendship with them over that time. And then one day, your precious, beautiful baby may go and meet this person face to face. And again, they probably won't do anything then. They may rape them and kill them then, or they may not, or they may do something else sexual. Well, let's not try and imagine, or maybe we flipping should. but they will literally take that long. Or, and you know, a lot of what I'm saying, I have worked in children's protective services. I have worked with children and young people who have been sexually abused. I work a lot with adults who, although it was never reported because they didn't even think of it as sexual abuse, they were sexually abused. So I know, okay? So you need to listen. I don't care if you listen to any of my other Facebook videos or my posts, but you need to listen to this. And I've also had a lot of safeguarding training because of various roles I've had in my very lengthy career. And of course, the new kid on the block is online. So in some cases, they are not going to be able to physically get hold of your child. So does that matter? Is a child going to be harmed for life because somebody has over time built a relationship of trust, has got to know about Flopsy their rabbit, and that Flopsy had a bad paw, and that Flopsy went to the vet, and you know now they're going to notice today that you know, oh, you've had a haircut, or oh, is that a new top you've got on, or you know, any little detail, because this is what they do. They go in for details, they befriend, they compliment, they notice all the little things about the child or the young person, and they really connect with them at that very deep level. Then every now and again, they may in some way tell them off, criticize them, or shame them. And the child may react to that, but then feel that the child, have done something wrong. So they will then try extra hard to befriend this other 12-year-old, this 14-year-old back again. And so this is what they do. And then when they've got them in this loop, they get to a point where they persuade them to maybe wear a little vest top this time, or maybe wear just their boxer shorts, and it goes on from there. And of course, they will be eventually inviting them to do any kind of acts, even if they just got them, I say just, it's not just, to show up in their vest top. They will be screenshotting those shots like crazy. And then it's very easy, apparently, obviously, luckily, I don't know, and I haven't had to work with this directly, but apparently it's very easy to take a photograph and superimpose anything onto and around a child's face or body. I will leave that to your imaginations, just what that could be. So, you love your children more than anything on the planet. And this kind of abuse, even though they never physically laid a finger on them, it will have a profound, lasting, emotional, traumatic impact, even though they never were physically with them. And again, I have experience of working with youngsters and adults that this has happened to. It's still degrading, demeaning, and you get the sense of having been violated. So you need to really take this seriously and get educated. I mean, this is a complete minefield for you as parents. So start very small. Otherwise, you're going to get overwhelmed. But start and never stop, because these people literally are spending all their time trying to work out the next app, the next thing, the next way to manipulate a seemingly innocent, sweet, befriending, keep in contact with friends app. It's what they do, in the same way that I've spent 16 years of my life studying childhood trauma every day forensically. That's what these people are doing about how to groom your children. Now, that would scare me a lot. And when I have grandchildren, this is something that I will be putting at the core of just being with my grandchildren, not in a big, scary way, but I will start I will start with, ironically, one of my own books, which is a sweet little storybook. And this isn't why I'm doing this Facebook Live. I've got other books here I'm going to show you, but this one is a really, really valuable tool, because what this story does, and what I intended it to do, was to begin to really, really highlight to and with children and parents the importance of nurturing and guiding children's very, very good intuition. Because that doesn't happen, it isn't valued in the way that it should be. And again, how do I know this? Because I have worked with children for 26 years and I've studied this stuff. I mean, as have many other people, but you need to listen to people like myself, because, we've done the work. We've sat with these children who've been sexually abused, these young adults and these adults. And it's horrific and it never goes away. So this little storybook, see this page here? So this is an example of what the story is about. The story is about, yes, a little squirrel, and little squirrel goes on an adventure to find out what love and kindness are. But the whole point of the story is that every part of it, the squirrel checks in with himself. What does that feel like for that bird to be close to me? How do I feel about the badger offering to give me a little back rub? How do I feel about the fox that's got the smiley face? When I tune into my body, I've got a very funny feeling in there. So I'm going to run. So you want your children, this is exactly what you need to nurture. And okay, that's a book for little children, but you could use that with children going up quite a long way, to have these powerful, highly essential conversations with them about how do they recognize in their body when someone just doesn't feel quite right, or when someone does feel right. Because then when they're online or out in the world, however hard you try, even with young children, you literally cannot have your eye on them at every second. And even, in real life, sometimes pedophiles will befriend you. They will befriend you over a very, 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 very long time in order to get to your children. So as we know, most children are directly sexually abused by somebody within their circle, but some pedophiles will spend a long time getting into your circle. They will offer to come fix your fence. They might offer to teach your child piano. Who knows? But it's the same principle online or in real life, that we are consistently encouraging our children. Okay, so what did that feel like when you couldn't talk to grandma tonight and, she forgot? Oh, okay. And when you feel really sad, where do you feel it in your body? So the more that you have these body-based conversations, it teaches the children that what you feel in your body is 1,000,000% important. And you need to always trust it and share it with, and it's really good to identify 1 or 2 adults who you trust, and hopefully they also will feel able to trust, and then teach them, have little conversations about how we share our feelings. This is the most important safeguarding thing you can do. I know Michelle was talking about, well, I don't know how to explain this to an 8-year-old. It is very complicated to explain, and they don't need complicated explanations. They just need to know that there are some amazingly wonderful people in the world, but there's a few people who are not kind, and some of them are really they're scary and they're nasty. And, if we ever get a funny feeling inside of us and we don't know what it is when we're online, just make an excuse and pop and find whoever it is and just say, can you come and help me with this, nanny or mummy or daddy? can you just come and read some of these messages? And of course, the children have to know they're never going to get told off by you. They're never going to be shamed. They're never going to be told, well, I told you not to go in there, or you silly boy, or you silly girl, I've told you before about this. They need us to come to be very calm, very kind, say, all right, my lovely, I'm just going to pop on here now. You go and do whatever, and I'll sort this out. And then later, because they may very well already feel some shame that they've done something wrong, much later, lots of reassurance. You have done nothing wrong. There are some people out there, they're not kind to children, but they sure do pretend to be. But you know that you checked in and you had that. Can you remember what that feeling you had inside? And then you came to find me. We need to trust that feeling. That is a really good feeling that's going to keep you safe. Always when you're this age and when you're an adult. And I trust that feeling inside of me. We must always listen to that feeling. So this is what you need to be focusing on the most, is the tuning in, but in the whole of daily life, not just about online, because children are highly sensitive to energy and they do pick up when something is off, unless we keep overriding that and saying to them, oh, again, in daily life, no, you're fine. Oh, well, I know, but you're feeling like that, but it'll go away. So during daily life, if we're always kind of minimizing and dismissing their feelings, or telling them to cheer up or be positive or look on the bright side, then we are dismissing and devaluing the very real feelings they had in their body. And over time, guess what? They will do the same. They will do the same. And then you may as well just fling them to the wolves. If you don't pay attention to that stuff, you are not protecting your children when they go online and when they go out in the real world. It's the most important thing you can do. You can give long, boring explanations, which they won't even remember half of. But if you start this nurturing, trusting, pull yourself back from correcting, setting things right, which is very hard, I know, and we don't like our children to be sad or too angry. But what we must be doing is connecting them, maybe not in the moment when they're overwhelmed, but later on. It's the most important work you will ever do with your children, particularly now where I don't know how on earth you keep up with all the changes on online. But, it's not so much that, because maybe you can't, but it is very much about this trusting of tuning into. Other great books I can recommend are by Janine Saunders. This is a brilliant one. I am going to put links in this post afterwards of the books and the websites that she's written. Loads of great books. No Means No. Let's talk about body boundaries, consent and respect. This is the stuff, some of you may have seen me when I was on Good Morning Britain once with Piers Morgan talking about nappy consent, and he yelled and screamed at me. But this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we need to trust, give children very clear messages that whether it's about being touched or being shown to somebody, your body is your body. It's an amazing thing. It's completely yours, and no one has a right to see it or touch it. Now that sounds big, and these books, particularly the first one I showed, which again I'm going to put all the links here, they are really helpful on this journey to explaining this, for finding ways ourselves to explain this to children, and helping them. And we just do it little bit by little bit. Cyril Squirrel is a very good starter, but you must do something. And I will post some links to some other great organizations who work in this field. And I was going to say, I hope I haven't scared you, but actually, I hope I've really scared you. And that, thinking, oh, well, I checked on Xbox Lives and it's all their friend. Good. I'm not really talking about Xbox Live, although I know when my son used to play it very many years ago, yeah, it was not a safe place then. Maybe they've really sorted it out now. But please, please, please stand in this uncomfortable space with yourself for a while and then do something about it as a matter of urgency. And now I can't find the key to switch it off. And I don't have my glasses on. End live video. There we go. Take care.